Hello dear subscribers and watchers, what's up? This is me, Waves from slidenerd here. In this video, I'm going to talk about external storage in Android, or what about storing data in the SD card when it comes to Android. So first let's take a look at the concepts involved as far as external storage is concerned. So here we're going to talk about private files versus public files. Now remember, files that belong to your app and the ones that should be deleted when the user uninstalls your app, they are private to your app, form a part of private files. Now files that should be freely available to the other apps and to the user become public files. Now what is this? If you take an example here, on the left side for private files, it could be something like the settings of your application. It could be something like some confidential data that your app has downloaded. But on the right side, it could be something that you want to share with the other apps, like photos captured, or maybe videos that maybe you downloaded some torrents. Those kind of files form a part of public files out there. Now here on the left side, getExternalFilesDir is the method that you use to get a reference to the file that points to the private files folder on your external storage. And for this one, you use the getExternalStoragePublicDirectory. Again, if you're not clear about these methods, don't worry too much about it. We'll be talking them with a nice example. Now remember, these files are deleted when the user uninstalls the app, but the external storage ones are not deleted, which means the images, the videos, the torrents, and those other files that you download will be present even if the app is uninstalled. Now let's talk about something else as well, shared preferences versus internal external storage. Now as you guys know very well, shared preferences store data in XML files, and internal external storage is something we've been seeing quite often right now. It's about storing data in files on your SD card or primary memory. Now shared preferences are more efficient because there is less read-write data or overhead involved when it comes to writing data. Now shared preferences also have a negative point, and that is that they can only store primitive types or arrays of strings. So if you want to store something more complex like an image or video or something, then you have to use internal external storage. There is no other way. So now let's talk about something else, internal versus external storage. Who is better? What do you think? External storage has more memory available. Obviously anybody can read the external files and they are not destroyed. Now external storage has one major flaw, which is in terms of security, and that is that any person can actually read the files, and they are only available as long as the SD card is mounted inside the phone. So if your app is purely dependent on external storage for showing some kind of state information, then well, I can say your app is totally screwed up. And then when you talk about internal storage, you probably have less memory, which is obviously getting more and more every day with new technology and advancements in Android memory, right? But access speed is more or less the same, so you don't have to worry about who's faster and who's slower. And only your app can access the internal storage data, and it's deleted when the app is uninstalled, which makes internal storage more secure than external storage. But on the other hand, external storage gives you more memory, so you have to make a fine line of compromise between internal storage and external storage. Divide your app and its files into two parts, the ones that can be kept public and the ones that should be extremely secure. Put the secure ones in the internal storage and put the public ones and the big files in the external storage. Now that is the policy that we'll be following here. Now let's talk about something, how to write to external storage. First of all, you need the right external storage permission in your manifest. Without this, nothing is going to happen. And then again, you need to check something. You need to check if the external storage, which is the SD card, is it available. What if the user has just pulled out the SD card and tries to read the external storage? You don't want your app to crash, right? So you have to check that by using this method called getExternalStorageState. Now this method will tell you if the SD card is mounted, is it readable, is it writable, all that kinds of information. Now again, to store the data, there are three methods: getExternalStorageFilesDir, getExternalStoragePublicDirectory, which is the new way and the recommended way of storing public files on external storage, and getExternalStorageFilesDir, which is the private one. If you guys are seeing the third one for the first time, it is the older way of accessing the external storage prior to API version 7. Now use the file input stream and file output stream to perform the required read and write, just like the way we used to do earlier. Now let's talk about the storage state. The external storage can be in three states. That is, it can be read only, it can be mounted, or if both are not there, that means it's failed. Now let's talk about the availability test. Now here we are gonna see a simple test that checks if our external storage is ready to be accessed by our app or not. So let's see how that can be done. Initially, I'll make a variable called boolean is available is false. I'll start with false. Now I'll say is writable is false. Then I'll call this method environment.getExternalStorageState. Now this returns me a string over here, and this string contains some value. Now I need to check this value with some set of predefined values to make sure that my external storage is available. For example, I could say something like this: environment.mediaMounted.equalState, which means I'm checking if the state of my SD card is mounted. Yes, then we can read and write data. Now I'll also check, and in that case we can say that is available is true and is writable is also true, which means we can do whatever we want with the external storage we have. We can also check something like this: if environment.mediaMounted.read-only.equalState. Now there are some situations where your SD card is readable but it's not writable. Hard to describe, but then that is the case. So in this case you can pretty say is available is true but is writable is false, which means you can try to access the data from there, but write operations are gonna probably crash your app. Hence you should refrain from doing write operations here. And next, last but not the least, well, nothing is happening. It's neither mounted nor read only, which means you cannot access the external storage. In that case, something is wrong, and you gotta tell the user that, well, you cannot do anything. So is available and is writable is false. Now this is how you would be testing our external storage state's availability first, and then you'll be doing the required operations using the file output stream or file input stream. Now let's talk about the different ways we can access external storage. Like I said earlier, getExternalStorageDirectory is the traditional way, or the traditional method that directly gets you reference to the root directory of your external storage or SD card for all API versions less than 7. Now here there's getExternalStorageFilesDir with string type that lets you create private files for your app that will be removed when the app is uninstalled on the external storage. And then there's the getExternalCacheDir, which I talked about in my previous video, how to store cache files on Android, and this is where it comes into effect. And then there's the getExternalStoragePublicDirectory, which is the method you guys will be using for storing files that should be kept public even after your app is uninstalled, and that should be available to the other apps like images or videos for your external storage for your app. So hopefully you guys have understood something about external storage. I know this is all way too much information to get inside your head at one shot. Take your sweet time, chill out, and get this done. In the meantime, if you guys do like what you saw, please like this video, share this video, comment, and let us know your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. And we'll catch you guys in the next video, where we'll be digging about this method in a little more detail before we work our application out. Thank you guys, have a nice day.